Today I'm going to show you how I used a few scraps of papers like this. These are from the Steampunk Mega Kit. So just a few scrap papers to make a collection of little handmade beads, and of course the colours will match anything in your journal. And with these you can make beautiful decorations to add to your journal. So here's a little card with a tag in it, and you can see the beads have been included there. Here's another one. This is an old envelope, so it's just an old junk mail envelope, and I've added a few of the darker beads and a key to that one. And here's one of the little photo frames with an image in it, and I've added a bead there with a little "Made with Love" dangle. And so they will look beautiful in one of the journals and really quick and simple to make. Hi everyone, today I've got a few scraps of paper and I thought we'd have a go at making some handmade beads. So I've made these with some of the some of the Steampunk scrapbook paper. These blue ones I've started with a base of 3/4 of an inch, and these ones I've started with a base of 1/2 an inch. So you can make the beads any size you like. That's a few that I've made. You just basically need a triangular strip of paper, and the point of the triangle needs to be centered in the middle of the base. And to do that is really easy. You just take one of your pieces of paper. So I'm going to take this dark one here, and I want to just make a mark. So I'm going to make some 1/2 inch beads, the smaller ones. So I just want to make a little pencil mark at 1/2, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, and 4. And then on the other edge, I want my mark to be halfway between that. So down on this bottom edge, I want to make that mark at 1/4 inch. So I've marked it at 1/4, and then I'm just going to slide my ruler along to that mark and then do the 1/2 inch marks again. So 1/2 an inch away, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5. So they're my marks. If you want to, you can grab your ruler and you can rule from this mark up to that mark. So I'll do one and show you. So you can rule your lines and cut them out with scissors, so you can do that all the way across your paper. But for me, I'm just going to use the marks and a blade, and I'm just going to cut them. So I'll turn it around to do that. Okay. Let's just cut a couple. Alright, once you've got your triangles cut, you just need a skewer or a toothpick or a narrow handled paintbrush, whatever you've got around. And you just want to start rolling. I just get it going at first. Once I get the base on, I don't want this to be as tight as I can get it, because then it gets hard to take it off. So I just let it loosen just a little bit so I can slide it. And then I like to use a little bit of glue. You don't have to. You can get it all the way to the end before you glue it. And you just want to make sure you can see the white on the back of the paper. You want to make sure that these edges are centered with the base part that's on the skewer. And you just want to roll it. I use just my fingertip just to catch that edge because it will slide a little bit on the skewer. And just takes a little moment to get it centered. And then you just keep rolling it. Just keep it centered all the time. I'm just going to keep adding a little bit of glue just in the center. And then when you get to the end, be a little bit more generous with the glue. Doesn't matter if you've got a little bit too much, because as you're rolling it and it starts spreading out a little bit onto your finger, I just let that, you can see that now, I just let that glue that tip in and then just pick up the rest. So that's your bead, and it will slide off easily. Now that one, if you tip it on its side, you can see the white edges of the paper. So with the next one, what I'll do is I'll ink it for you and just show you the difference in the end. So just getting rid of that white edge. And if you do this now, it means that any of the colours in the paper show up in the final bead. You could ink it at the end, so I could go and ink that, but then I'm going to end up getting rid of all the colours that I want that are on the paper. Now you might want the white, depending on what the pattern is and what the theme you're going for. You might want the white for the steampunk theme. I don't really want the white. And where it gets hard like this, just try and stretch it out between your fingers. Let's try this one. So again, just start the rolling process and then just let it loosen up a tiny bit so that it will slide. Add some glue just to get it going. And just, oops, roll that along. Just keeping that centered. Just adjust it if you need to. And I can already see the difference by having just that little bit of ink on it. Which I prefer for sure, definitely with this theme. And just pick up that excess glue on your finger and roll it around. Okay, so there's that one with the ink on it. That's the inked one, and that's the one, that's the one without the ink on it. So that's the process, really simple. These ones you can see have a glossy finish on them, whereas the brown ones don't. And to get that, I used, there are several products you could use. You could use glossy accents and just brush that on, put them on a little toothpick or a skewer and brush that on. These ones I used a product called clay varnish, gloss clay varnish. There's also a couple of other ones you could use. Mod Podge. So there's various Mod Podge products. This one's got a pearl finish on it, and so that would make them pearly if you wanted that. There's clear and gloss, whatever you've got. You don't have to finish them, but it just makes a nice finishing touch. So that's just a quick and easy project to do with leftover scraps, and you can decorate your journal in all sorts of ways, making little dangles, putting them on the end of your ties. You can also, if you have string binding on the outside of your journal, you can also put these in, so you can have the string going through them as you sew your signatures in. Heaps of ways to use them. They're just really handy to have, and a great way to use up projects. So I'll show you a pile of mine when I've got them done. I left my beads overnight to dry on the little stand, and here they are when I woke up this morning. And then I've strung them on to just a piece of cotton just to show you the different beads. So these ones here are the ones that I made with you, and I'll try and bring them up so that you can see. So they're all of the darker coloured beads, and then these were the ones that I made earlier. So they're the light brown ones and the blue ones. These are all from the Steampunk Mega Kit, the scrapbook papers. So that's the beads, and then I'll just keep them in a little container, and when I want to decorate something in my journal, they're all there ready to go. So that's my little tub of handmade beads all ready to go. And then I thought I'd show you a few things I use them for. So here's a couple of the darker ones that I made earlier, and I've just strung a key and a few bead cap ends on with a bit of baker's twine. This is just an old envelope that I've collaged some book pages onto, and a little bit of tea bag, a few beads, a ticket, a few words, and I've just left the window in as it was. So that's something you could just glue into your journal and have a nice pocket, and then that could hang out the top or the side if you wanted to write. This one is just another little, that's a couple of the beads with the greeny colour on them. Just try and get that to sit the right way around. So that's got the word love on it, and it attaches, I've just attached them to the tag that pulls out. And again, this is made to be a flip. It's just from an old scrap piece of cardstock, and that's ready to sit in a journal as well. And I've just attached a little metal word love and a little bead, and that looks really pretty in a journal. The green picks up the little green, so that's a tag in a tag, that one. So the green picks up the green that you see through the window in that. So that's another way to use it. And then this is one of the window frames, and I've just added a little butterfly and another bead there, and a little dangle that says made with love. And that's just something that can tuck into a pocket. Again, that could hang out the top or the side of a journal. So there's a couple of things that you can do with them. People make necklaces with them. The other thing I was thinking of is if you don't have the the product that I used, which was this one. So if you don't have anything like that and you're just using them for your journal, you could easily just use clear nail polish to seal them, and that would be perfectly fine for a journal. So thanks for watching. I hope you make some with your scraps. It only took a couple of bits of scrap paper to make all of those, and it didn't take an awfully long time. I spent the afternoon yesterday on them and just a little bit this morning just decorating these few items. Great fun and a great way to decorate your journal.